Alright guys, Surgical here again today. You may notice something slightly different. I've got this Ushanka on today because it's rather cold right now. Kind of fitting as well. Of course, it's late in the year here in the UK. Pretty damn cold in my room right now, so probably going to be seeing some warmer clothes as the months go onwards to sort of wear this for a bit of a laugh. But also, Minnesota have just announced their branding, and of course, Minnesota up north, pretty damn cold up there. So yeah, thought I'd go through that today. A bit of a switch up to expectations, and yeah, let's crack right on with the video. So like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always. A couple of things to go through from yesterday, of course. Thanks to Trilocity for pointing out a couple of things to me on Twitter. I may have mentioned this tweet in yesterday's video. Clay says, who's going to stop us? TJ says LAN, of course, saying that, you know, when these guys actually get to a LAN environment, maybe not going to be as good. Of course, that's the likes of, you know, Shotzi, Who, Gilly, etc., etc. Crimsix replied to this in a since-deleted tweet saying 33 versus what? Like 5? A nice one. 33, of course, being the amount of championships that Crimsix has won. About 5 being the amount that TJ has won. Vegas, maybe he won 3 in World War II and then 1 back in Advanced Warfare, something like that, so maybe that's about right. Of course, Crimsix kind of putting him down. Since deleted this tweet actually and came out with, you know, this one, he just comes out with this image which has been circulated quite widely, this classic image of, you know, Crimsix on his phone here, so pretty funny stuff. I don't know to what degree this is intended to be malicious or to what degree it's just banter, but, you know, we do know that Crimsix has come out and quite explicitly said that TJ Dashy Scumpy wasn't happy with their performances and the way they were taking things not as seriously as he would like last season. So maybe there's more behind this than it seems like there is on the surface. A couple of things on Modern Warfare. I probably will do a video in a couple of days' time when things calm down a little bit in terms of the competitive side on, you know, Modern Warfare more generally, give some thoughts on the competitive scene, what I think they should be changed. Of course, a lot of the things have been confirmed to be looked at. Joe Saysot, or say, how are you going to pronounce it? Don't really want to give it a go. He says they're looking at footstep audio. Claymore's battle chatter is a key one as well. If you guys are aware of this, like you'll be hiding somewhere, you know, or you're sitting in a corner, your character will scream out contact, and then the guy who's, you know, you're trying to let walk past, so you can kill his second teammate that's going to follow behind him, you know, turns around and kills you. Awful stuff. Footstep audio, of course, the dead silence was fixed, and now it is completely dead silent. I do think to some degree, and Merk was saying this, I believe, on Twitter as well, that if you're double sprinting, I'm not sure that should be completely silent, right? I think the dead silent should definitely make your, you know, footsteps entirely silent when you're sprinting, walking, you know, crouch walking, all of this stuff. And I think that walking and crouch walking and ADSing and moving should be silent anyway, to be honest, when you're, you know, almost silent for walking, but definitely crouch walking and ADSing, you should be completely silent even without dead silence, right? And when you're running, then yeah, you make noise without dead silence. With dead silence, I think you shouldn't make noise with, you know, when you're running in that. But anyway, we'll have to see how things develop going forwards. Obviously, we're not going to get a perfect world, but yeah, something to keep your eyes on. Clay also says, battle chatter related. David Mickner says, you know, back in the day, it used to be auto handle under MLG CDL rules. Apparently, they're going to look into adding this as an option, which is something that's happened in the past. You can turn off battle chatter, which is when your, you know, your teammates and yourself will, you know, shout about what you're doing. I'm reloading, etc., etc. Wanted to run this past you as well. I'm Ruby David says this, so he looked into all the new hardpoints for you know, the maps that have been changed in terms of the rotations. The hardpoints back in the day, like on Grasna Raid or whatever, it had literally 20 hardpoints that were rotating around the map. Finally, it looks like someone who has an idea about how competitive works has had a look at these maps, and the fact that they've changed these says to me that likely hardpoint is going to be a competitive mode. So yeah, this is what it's looking like on Hackney Yard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 definitely kind of makes sense in terms of the rotations here, so I kind of like what they've done with this. Similar theme really through all of these, you know, first hardpoint on St. Petrograd over by the A-bomb. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and you know, so the rotations here seem pretty good, to be honest. It seems like someone relatively confident has looked into these and you know, has made them go across the map, but not, you know, incredibly long rotations. Arkhov Peak looks like this, but this map is huge anyway, so you know, that 2 to 3 rotations is going to be pretty long, even though it doesn't look too long on the map. And Ramaza as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 to 3 rotations very long indeed. You know, we've had it in the past where rotations have been changed throughout the year. Probably won't need to happen this time though. Let's move onwards. So CDL Intel says that Sender is currently going over callouts with Optic Gaming. They were last night. Rumoured yesterday, as I talked about, to be their coach. This is even more evidence. When this does get announced or whatever happens, I'll go into this, of course, in more depth. Where exactly Teep will go, who knows right now. And yeah, you know, Kroenke says, I've always said it's an option to Chicago. Don't know if he went there or whether he decided to stick to stream. And here we go then. Minnesota finally confirmed as the ROKKR. And I actually really like this branding. We'll have a look at it in a second here. They're They're going to be hosting a Q&A tonight, 6 p.m. Central Time. If you guys would like to tune into that, their Twitter link is not this one at COD Midnight. It's actually this one at ROKKR, so it's been changed since introducing the Minnesota's own COD team, the Minnesota ROKKR. I really like this. It has like North Viking mythology vibes, and honestly, I kind of really like what they're going for this. I'll probably put the video up on screen right now just while I'm talking beneath it, because the music will get me copyright striked, but I really like what they're going for here. The video is kind of interesting in terms of the vibe they're going for, but I really do kind of like it, and the color scheme as well is pretty interesting. They've got some sort of, you know, the purples, the blues, the northern lights kind of things going on, and you know, when I saw the Toronto Ultras branding of being purple, I was like, damn, this is kind of nice, and a couple of teams since then have come out with a similar vein. Wonder what you guys think about this though. On paper it doesn't make too much sense when you first hear it, but now you know the backstory. I believe it means twilight in Norse mythology or something like that, and yeah, there's some pretty cool things surrounding Røkkr as an entity if you want to look that up on the internet. We also have this, if the video stopped playing at this point, the Røkkr have come out with their merchandise, so we've got sweatshirts, tees, so you can see the kind of things they're going for here. Pretty cool the fact that this is already out there and already ready to go. Wanted to run through this as well from an Esports Insider article I'll link down below with the COO, I believe, or one of the chief executive guys at the Minnesota or Wise Ventures, who talks about the following. We wanted something that was unique. We also wanted something that stayed true to the goals we stated at the beginning, having something that made sense for the region. So of course being very northerly, what am I saying? It's an old Norse word for twilight, the moment between day and light where the last light fades beyond the horizon. We really liked that elemental aspect. It's associated with Ragnarok, and that translates as twilight of the gods. The logo itself is intended to be this mysterious helmeted figure emerging from the shadows, and you're ready to join the battle of Ragnarok. We wanted to tie back to the Vikings, but not exactly be the Vikings. So I kind of like what they're going for there. Be interested to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below, and let's go on to this then, the main title of today's video. The Call of Duty League season confirms to be starting with Minnesota in Minnesota on January the 24th to the 26th is going to be the opening weekend. Honestly, this is about maybe when I expect it to be, maybe even a little bit earlier. I guess it makes sense. We've heard the league is going to start in the new year. Typically, things start a hell of a lot earlier than that. Typically, we've got an event in December at the very, very least. This time it's not going to happen, and we may have some other events put on by third-party partners and tournament organizers. Maybe that won't be the case. Maybe it will. We'll have to see how things develop over the coming months. There definitely will be tournaments going on, but not official Call of Duty League ones, right? So it starts January 24th. When they did say a couple of weeks ago that it was going to start in the new year or early next year, I was slightly concerned that it might not even be January and it might be dripping into February, right? January the 24th is obviously a long way away, but based on what they said before, it's somewhat reasonable. I can somewhat accept it. It just is how it is, right? So let's have a look at a few details here. So the launch weekend is coming to Minnesota, January 24th to 26th, the Minneapolis Armory. Jack Felling, so this guy, esports games industry, Activision Blizzard Esports, Call of Duty League, etc., etc. Launch weekend, January 24th to 26th, Minnesota, all 12 pro teams. First Challengers, Path to Pro, big open LAN at the same event. Challengers teams passes on sale early December, so keep an eye on that if you guys even want to play, or just to keep an eye on the whole amateur side of things. Total Challengers amateur season pricing is going to be over $1 million. Let's have a look at a few things here then. So the press release, this comes out from Charlie Intel. Press release says that this launch weekend will feature all 12 competitive teams going to be associated with the Minnesota ROKKR, of course. We're thrilled with the continued growth of the COD esports footprint. 12 teams in 4 countries. CEO of Activision Blizzard, based on our city-based model's success in esports, first established in the Overwatch League. Excited to unite the historic passion for the Call of Duty franchise with city-based fandom to create a league to rival the very best league in traditional sports in recognizing, celebrating, and rewarding our players. So quite an out there statement. Launch weekend will also feature the first Challengers Open, where amateurs from around the world can compete as teams in an open bracket tournament format. So thankfully we are going to be seeing some proper tournament stuff, some proper knockout play, because this opening weekend is probably going to be the start of the league. It's not going to be a tournament at the weekend where at the end of the weekend we have an opening weekend champion or whatever, and then next weekend we have another tournament, right? That's not how it's going to work. It's going to move around the cities, but it's going to be league-based as far as I understand. So probably each team will play like three matches or something for the league every weekend, and then they'll move around the world, which is incredibly expensive to organize and to run. Like the amount of money that's going to be involved here, because, you know, imagine you're I don't know, LA Optic or something. You have to fly up to okay, Paris makes more sense, right? You're Paris or you're London. Obviously, I'm guessing those teams are going to be based in the States anyway, so it doesn't really matter, even though they're technically Paris. But they've got to fly all around the country. They have to then fly from that weekend back to their home where they're based, wherever they are, based in the US probably, practice for the rest of the week, then fly off to a different location. You know, at some points during the year, they'll be flying back to London, back to Paris. All the teams will be like crazy expensive, to be honest. Is it worth it? I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes going forward. But yeah, we're thrilled to have to debut the Call of Duty League in Minnesota, so it kind of makes sense, the fact that, you know, Minnesota's announcing today. They also announced this today as well. It's an honor to host the inaugural weekend, etc., etc. We've been craving an esports event of this caliber in Minneapolis, St. Paul. With the success this community has had in hosting world-class events, we're excited to put on an incredible fan experience. If you guys are in the area, then maybe this could be a damn good thing to go along to. Just a couple of things to finish off with, kind of on the funnier end of the spectrum. Optic Gaming did this tweet yesterday, the Beast Dashi, showing you how it's done. And, you know, just to play this clip from the beginning, a 30-second clip, I was expecting it to be pretty damn nasty. And I wonder exactly why this happened and why why it happened like this. You see Dashi's just jumping around, nice bit of movement here, you know, pops the reload, only had 11 bullets left, you know, Juan and that moving around the map, like what's going to happen? Is he going to go insane? Gets the first kill, or, you know, can't quite get the second. He spots the second guy as well, takes him down, some nice clean shots as well, and then moving over to the left in the cafe or whatever the hell that building is, takes down the 3-piece, and that'll do it for your clip, ladies and gentlemen, your Astro Gaming MVP of the day. Like, what is this clip? A 3-piece over 30 seconds? What am I watching? Wonder how exactly this happened. Did they just upload the wrong clip, or does the social media manager really not know what's going on, or did they just do this to gain some interactions on the timeline? Who knows? But I thought it was kind of funny anyway. So, like, if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you are new as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
The way it all went down, how the last 2 years have went, it's all white noise now. I have a bag of chips on my shoulder, but it's all behind me. I will never forgive, and I will never forget. For most players, they want to be the best, but I'm way past that now. It's about not getting dropped again. I've only won one tournament, and the only thing that matters to me is winning the second one, hopefully. The weight that I used to have, it's coming back. Time to refocus and cancel my gym membership. It's time to build an empire.